Thank you, Larry. This is a big crowd, right? First of all, I want to acknowledge and thank the Clay Tene and Chief Logan that we saw last night and again this morning, so thank you very much, and the warm welcome that you gave us to your traditional territory. I also want to acknowledge the many First Nations who host our operations in the traditional territories and who are here today. Larry's already introduced me. I speak a little bit funny. I think, just for the record, I'm from Australia, not South Africa, so I'll put the g'day mate out there for you. So just to let you know where I've come from Australia. As Larry said, I joined Rio Tinto in late November last year, so I'm still counting the number of days that I'm actually in operations running the BC Works in Kitimat and Kemano there. I've worked around the world, and I've worked in Spain and Texas, but when you come to Kitimat, it is a beautiful place. Looking at the snow-capped mountains, I'm still working on the cold. I'm sure I'll work that out, but certainly it is a very beautiful place, and BC, friends of ours, have also commented how beautiful BC is. Amongst all the other world treasures, BC is one of those special places. I'm very honoured and excited to be part of the 20th annual BC Natural Resources Forum. So when I arrived, the team told me about the forum and that Rio Tinto has been a founding contributor to the Natural Resource Forum. I commend the organisers for the work that you've done to create now the largest and most important resource gatherings in northern BC. I can already see that it's an excellent opportunity to meet and exchange ideas across industry, government, First Nations and stakeholders across the province. Take the time to look outside. I've gone and worked out how to drive a train. There's a locomotive group from CN. I've met other First Nation leaders, chiefs. That's been great. Really curious about learning more about the culture. So it's very exciting to please take the opportunity to get and do what I'm doing, collecting business cards in my pouch here, so I can sort of follow up and connect with people. Rio Tinto has been part of the resource sector in British Columbia for nearly 70 years, and that's a pretty significant part of the community. In 2022, we invested over $400 million in the BC economy, which includes the completion of the Kemano T2 tunnel and our Keynote operations. Additionally, we contribute over $2 million in the community invested throughout the region. We acknowledge the importance of the natural resources in building prosperity in this great province. We also know the opportunities and challenges we all face with the increasing competitive global markets that we operate in. I accepted the role. I was excited to join the BC Works team with its long, proud history in the region, and I reflect on the construction of the massive 1950s Kitimat project that achieved many world firsts and it's beyond being just an engineering and construction feat. It actually created a new community in the region. People from all over the world came together and achieved credible results to build the foundation of what we have today. We also have, as part of that, we have a green sustainable power source, something that is essential for the success of what we do. And I reflect on this with our employees when I talk to our employees, and I'm trying to get out and meet more of our employees, and I comment to them is one of the key attributes that I look at when I come to a facility, the sustainability of that facility. And you look at Kitimat with a green hydro power source that we have, that's an absolute gift for the type of industry we are in. And certainly something you look at is sustainability going forward, and that shows longevity of our position here as Rio Tinto in BC. We have supportive communities that want us to be sustainable for now and for the future. We have employees that are passionate about the work they do and have strong community ties. Our senior leaders, and certainly this is one thing that I've focused on, I'm sort of a little bit older, I can choose who I work for these days. I'm just over 50, but certainly you want to know who you're working for. That becomes very important as you get more established in your careers, and certainly listen to the senior leaders that I work for, of their shared commitment to our future here in BC, to the environment, to the First Nations, to the communities and to our employees. These are commitments that align very well with my values. Our infrastructure upgrades over the past several years, including the new smelter in 2016, I'm not sure I assume everyone's aware of that. There was a $5 billion investment that Rio put into the smelter. As mentioned earlier, the completion of the second tunnel at Kemano, that was also a a key initiative. The T1 tunnel was over 70 years old, and certainly having T2 tunnel make sure that we're here for the future, and that's another significant investment. Additionally to that, we've done the upgrades at the Skin Lake Spillway over the past few years, has positioned us as one of the most efficient and sustainable smelters in the world. We are proud to produce aluminium with one of the lowest carbon footprints in the world, and that has increasing demand. I think we had the discussion this morning with some groups about, do customers or end users actually value green aluminium yet? Now, at this point, you don't see it in the price, but certainly you can see in the sentiment where investors are going, where you as consumers are going. If you get the choice to buy an iPhone with green aluminium or an iPhone that derived its aluminium from coal, given the choice, I would hope you'll take the green option. Maybe in the short term it costs you a little bit more, but hopefully those values of your own are kicking in where you want to be part of a sustainable future, which means we have to support it, right? We can't always take the cheapest option. We might want to take the most valuable option and the value based on our collective future together. Excuse me. Our focus is squarely on the safe restart of our facility. As you might be aware, we're restarting the smelter, which takes a lot of time and effort by our team. So we're in the process of that right now. To become the company of choice for our employers, our customers and our host communities. Rio Tinto is committed in protecting and improving our practices to minimise our impact on the environment. Specifically, I'm sure it's a major interest to many people in the room, improving the health of the Pascoe River and watershed. An example of this is our partnership with the UNBC. The Tatsa Range Atmospheric Rivers Experiment is a 5-year-long project that has many different components dedicated to examine the hydrology of the Pascoe River watershed. We also continue to seek ways to improve the Pascoe River, improve the health, of the Pascoe River through our work with Indigenous leaders and the communities, ongoing collaboration, technical work and the years of research. While we are working hard to improve our operations and ensure sustainability, we strongly believe that by working together, we'll find those solutions. Another driver for Rio Tinto is the global commitment to decarbonisation. Rio Tinto raised its ambitions with a commitment to reduce our global emissions in 2030 by 50%. I hope you can appreciate that this is not an insignificant target, and together we can and we will make a difference going forward. Rio Tinto continues to progress the development of the breakthrough zero-carbon smelting technology through ELYSIS with our partners. Just to stop on that technology has been, I think, with my previous role with our competitor now, the opposition, Alcoa, but it's actually Alcoa and Alcan and now Rio are actually part of that partnership and showing that competitors are working towards the future of a zero-carbon electrolysis process. So, that's a pretty big thing. Two big companies aligned to actually get a future change. And as we say in the aluminium industry, or aluminum industry, depends on which way you want to pronounce it, truly a miracle metal. And what I mean by that, lightweight, infinitely recyclable. So when you got those cans that you're using, please don't put them in the trash, put them in a recyclable, because they will be recycled. So please think about it. Every time you've got something with aluminium, it's recyclable, 100%. Aluminium is part of the solution of modern society, and we discussed this internally, and we looked at aluminium, so it comes with lightweight, high strength, infinitely recyclable. That is key measures now that companies are looking to use. Found everywhere from jet engines, electric vehicles, pickup trucks, mobile phones. It's one of the most widely used metals on Earth, and demand continues to grow. Aluminium is one of the greenest aluminiums in the world, and it's produced right here in BC. And that's a pretty proud fact we should be all proud of, that we're doing it here in BC. At Rio Tinto, we're committed to finding better ways to provide the materials the world needs while remaining dedicated to protecting the land, water, ecosystems and environments we operate in. Just to give you some context, our BC Works operation spans more than 400 kilometres, making our operational footprint the same size as Switzerland. When you put that into perspective, I'm sure many of you can appreciate the importance for us to listen and understand the varying interests from the many First Nation communities and stakeholders throughout the region. As you might be aware, we began the Water Engagement Initiative back in 2017, also referred to as the WEI, with a commitment for us to listen and understand the interests of communities. The way, I was trying to work out if it's we, way, or WEI, so that's why I asked for it to be spelt out, is an initiative that brings together stakeholders with interest in the Chaco River and the watershed to find solutions to opportunities and shared importance. Working together and most importantly building trust. Trusting relationships is the key to our collective success. And finally, one of our longest standing relationships is one we have with our employees. 4, if not 5 generations of families have worked to support our smelter. And I would have to say, from my experience, that is a pretty long time in one small community to be part of that community, and that brings strong ties between us and our employees. Strong employee engagement is a key ingredient for success for our business. It's about talking, two-way communication, and most importantly, listening to one another to bring out the best solutions. I'm really excited. We've been able to welcome over 300 new employees in the past year. To put that in context, they are now joining our workforce is 1,000 strong, so nearly just under a third of our employees are new to our business in Kitimat. So that's one thing I look at that is the fact we can attract 300 people to our business that want to come to Kitimat and work with us at our smelter is absolutely fantastic. Additionally to that, that doesn't even include our contract partners. On top of that, we actually have our contract partners. And if you reflect on that, and we've heard about some other things taking place in Prince George here, those employees support families. And typically when I was trying to put some context in my head when I was looking at the job is, typically you'd think one person, 3 other people. So you are touching many lives with those employment opportunities that people have, and that's why when those employment opportunities aren't there, is why people get very concerned. So I'm very proud that we can continue to provide those jobs in the Kitimat and Terrace regions. As you can appreciate, the value we bring to the sustainability of the communities in which we operate. I'm pleased that the theme of this year's conference is how BC is contributing to an innovative, responsible, respectful international resource sector. Resonates with me and aligns with my values and the values of Rio Tinto. Those values are care, curiosity and courage. We care for our people, safety, our communities and our planet. We have the courage to try new things, speak up and do what's right. Through curiosity, we foster collaboration and learning and innovation. There's no better time than now for us to be here together, finding creative ways to address both the opportunities and the challenges of building our future together. Now I'd like to share a short video with you on our partnership with the Cheslata Carrier Nation. This is a relationship that has been built on mutual trust and transparency, and we'll play the video and I'll come and introduce our next guest.